4 ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
Two young men crediting their time served in the Israeli military for helping them save a man injured in last week's gas lamp shooting spree. What they're revealing about the chaos that unfolded that night. Plus, as the vaccine rollout continues in San Diego County, one area is seeing low rates. What's being done to boost the numbers among refugees in East County? And a cold storm bringing rain to San Diego County, the big swing we're about to experience in our weather.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
Organizers of the recall effort against California Governor Gavin Newsom say they have now collected enough valid signatures to qualify for the ballot. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Lindsay Pena. Just hours ago, the California Secretary of State's office announced that more than 1.6 million signatures have been verified. Here's what's next. Counties still have until April 29th to verify signatures. That will be followed by a 30-day period where people can withdraw their signatures. If the number of signatures still meets the threshold, then a recall election will likely happen later this year. Republican candidates are already jumping into the race to challenge Newsom. Former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer has announced his candidacy, as well as San Diego businessman John Cox. Celebrity activist Caitlyn Jenner also announced she will run.
Now to our top story of the evening. We talked to the medics who are credited with saving the life of one of those men injured in last week's deadly shooting in the gas lamp. Justice Bolden, a valet attendant, was killed, and 3 tourists and another San Diegan were injured before police captured the gunman. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner spoke to the medics from Israel who kept the man calm during all the chaos.
These 2 young men credit their life-saving skills to their time served in the military.
We saw the guy shooting at the people. We just took a few steps back. We didn't know what's going on.
Shai Gino on the left and Dvir Benesh are former soldiers who served in the Israeli army and now live in San Diego, where they work as home remodelers. Just after Benesh finished his DJ set Thursday night, they saw the shooting and ran to help a man who'd been struck.
We put a pressure on his chest. We said, everything is going to be okay. The ambulance is going to be right here. We're here. We're going to help you. You're going to make it. Just breathe with me, breathe with me.
Monday, police released the names of the recovering survivors, including 68-year-old San Diegan Stephen Ely and 3 men in their 20s from New Jersey, Vincent Gazani, Alexander Ballas, and Jatil Kodati. One of them reached out to Gino from the hospital.
He texted me this morning that he's okay and he's super grateful and we saved his life.
Part of that text reads, "If it wasn't for you, I don't think I would be alive." Unfortunately, 1 man did die, 28-year-old Justice Bolden. Bolden was a valet employee for the Pendry Hotel, working for Ace Parking. Police said that 32-year-old suspect Travis Saraste shot him before taking off and shooting the 4 others in what SDPD believes were unprovoked attacks. Court documents show he pled guilty to an assault-related misdemeanor from 2018, where he was ordered to serve probation and not have guns. And he has a current warrant out for a business license felony. The suspect is now in custody, facing murder and attempted murder charges. Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
A man is recovering after a drive-by shooting this morning on the 125. Traffic shut down near Mission Gorge while deputies search for the shell casings. Police say the man was on his way to work in a white pickup when a black SUV pulled up alongside. Someone in the passenger seat of that black SUV opened fire. You can see where one bullet went right through the window. It grazed the man in the neck. Fortunately, he's already been released from the hospital.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus. There's a new effort to get people vaccinated in San Diego's refugee populations. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco with a look at the areas in the East County falling behind in doses and the event coming up designed to change that.
Dalia Mohammed got vaccinated as soon as she was eligible.
To show the community that, hey, look, I got the vaccine. I'm doing great. Now it's your turn to go and get the vaccine and save lives.
Dalia is an outreach worker with License to Freedom. The nonprofit helps domestic violence victims and members of the refugee population. The organization is working to encourage people who may be vaccine hesitant to get the shot.
We come from a war-torn country. We come from a place where government is to not be trusted. And so it's very difficult for people to understand.
Language barriers are another issue. Since the pandemic started, Dalia has been translating information to the Middle Eastern communities in El Cajon.
When COVID-19 first started, it was very difficult for them to even understand what COVID-19 is. People are afraid. They're afraid that Johnson & Johnson got stopped, and they're like, well, why should I trust the other two vaccines?
That fear is reflected in the numbers. More than 68% of people in San Diego County have been vaccinated with at least one dose. Nearly 46% are fully vaccinated. When you break it down by region, though, East County represents just 12% of those vaccinated. A new vaccine site targeting refugee and immigrant communities opens in El Cajon May 1st.
It wouldn't be fair to say that the numbers are low because those areas have gotten vaccination sites then and there. We have not had the opportunity to have a site of our own.
The vaccine clinic will be held at the Lutheran Church on Melody Lane in El Cajon. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
The clinic will be held Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Whether it's held every weekend will be based on demand. And there are some signs that the pace of vaccinations is slowing down across the country. A new ABC News Washington Post poll shows 24% of Americans are not inclined to get the vaccine. That could make it very difficult for the U.S. to reach herd immunity. The same poll shows 73% of those who are not vaccinated would refuse the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. J&J shots are being given again after an 11-day pause while the CDC investigated a small number of blood clots in people who'd gotten the vaccine. Dr. Anthony Fauci says it's clear the benefits outweigh the risks.
We've looked at it. Now let's get back and get people vaccinated.
The CDC never found a direct link between the J&J vaccine and the blood clots. Out of nearly 8 million shots given, 15 women got the blood clots. Meanwhile, the White House says it will send raw materials needed for the production of the AstraZeneca vaccine to India to combat a surge in coronavirus. More than 350,000 cases have been reported there in the last 24 hours alone, breaking global records for the 5th day in a row. At least 2,800 deaths were also reported. Hospitals are turning away people because there is not enough oxygen or beds to treat patients. The White House is also working on sending ventilators, PPE, COVID-19 tests, and other therapeutics to India. Global leaders should be preparing in case of another global pandemic. That warning coming from Vice President Kamala Harris today during a speech to the United Nations. Harris urged leaders to make their healthcare systems more accessible and called on them to invest more in science and hiring health workers. Governments should also create a stockpile of PPE and other medical supplies. This is Harris's second address to the UN since becoming vice president. And you can keep track of any developments surrounding the pandemic by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
And turning now to our weather, a late season storm is bringing cold temperatures and some rain to San Diego County. This is just the beginning of the wild weather, though. This week, it's going to feel more like summer here in just a few more days. More on that in a moment. But first, our ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti shows us what Mother Nature brought us today.
Sunny San Diego hid behind the clouds Monday. Rain moving through the county in places like Carmel Valley, Claremont, Hillcrest, and along the beaches.
The peninsula there was totally clear about 10 minutes ago, and then you could see the storm coming this way.
Dan Miller, visiting from Phoenix, says choppy waves caused his whale watching trip to be canceled, so he came to Mission Beach to try and salvage the day.
San Diego's supposed to be the perfect place, perfect weather and everything, but everything has its, has its moments.
Monday, the beaches stayed empty.
A little chilly.
For the most part.
Yes, she's debating on whether she's going to put this blanket on or not.
Mother-daughter duo Tammy and Neela braved the cold conditions for some quality time under the protection of a tent.
And it's cold. And not that much people are here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that why we decided to come out today?
Yeah.
These locals are embracing the empty beach and fine with a little bit of cold weather.
We just have to take advantage of the time we do get. So even if it is rainy, it's not bad. It could always be worse, huh, babe? Yeah.
Monday's rain remained light, helping with this year's water deficit, but not making a major dent. San Diego should have almost 10 inches of rain for this water year so far. But right now, we have less than 5 inches, meaning we're more than 5 inches down from where we should be. Monday's rain, enough to drive the few people who did brave the beach away eventually. Even Tammy, Neela, and their tent didn't last, but it should be clear soon. By the end of the week, sunny San Diego will return. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
He's having a good time, no doubt about that. All right, as we mentioned earlier, we're going to see a big swing in our weather condition this week. Here's our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, with more.
See, we would typically call this storm a winter storm, but by the end of the week, we're going to be in Santa Ana conditions. So literally just opposite weather from the beginning to end. As we look at some of the totals so far today, about 1/10 of an inch in Encinitas, Del Mar, Ramona, and also in Santee. However, downtown San Diego didn't do so well. We didn't even get that 1/10 of an inch we were hoping for. There is a chance we will see a few more showers tonight and into tomorrow. So let's see what's happening right now. We do have a little bit of moisture in the county near Alpine, Mount Laguna, and also up in the North County near Escondido and Valley Center. The chance for showers will continue tonight and into tomorrow morning before we start to shift gears and go into Santa Ana conditions. I'll break it all down and I'll show you how much hotter it's going to be by later this week.
Angelica, thank you. All right, for the first time in the history of our state, California is losing a seat in Congress. Today, the Census Bureau released the population numbers that determine how many seats each state gets in the House. California is now going from 53 to 52. Now that the numbers are out, states can begin the process of redrawing their congressional maps. In California, that's done by an independent commission. It's not known which part of the state will lose a representative, but experts tell ABC 10 News Eastern Los Angeles is most likely.
A new investigation is being opened into the Louisville Police Department more than a year after officers shot and killed Breonna Taylor. Attorney General Merrick Garland made that announcement earlier today. In March 2020, officers obtained a no-knock warrant and raided Taylor's home where they shot her. The warrant was part of a narcotics investigation, but no drugs were ever found. The Justice Department will now investigate if Louisville PD has a pattern or practice of unlawful policing. There is growing outrage over another deadly law enforcement shooting, this time in North Carolina. Today, the family of Andrew Brown Jr. got to see body camera footage of that shooting for the first time. But as ABC's Rena Roy reports, they want to see more.
My dad got executed just by trying to save his own life. The officers was not in no harm of him at all.
The family of Andrew Brown Jr. has now watched his final moments unfold on body camera footage behind closed doors. His loved ones and their attorneys saying they were only able to view a redacted version, just 20 seconds long, with some officers' faces blurred, explaining that what they saw was disturbing.
Guns drawn, pointing at him while his hands are on the steering wheel. They're shooting and saying, "Let me see your hands," at the same time.
Calls for transparency growing louder.
Video! Video!
Peaceful protesters demanding the full raw video be released to the public.
We only saw a snippet of the video. Why couldn't the family see all of the video?
Brown was killed last Wednesday in Elizabeth City as deputy sheriffs attempted to execute warrants related to felony drug charges.
Advise EMS has got one male, 42 years of age, gunshot to the back.
A neighbor who says she witnessed the shooting says Brown did not pose a threat to the officers when they opened fire.
He was nonviolent. Anybody that knew him would tell you that. He was driving away.
If any of my deputies broke any laws or violated any policies that come out through this investigation, they will be held accountable.
The Pasquotank County attorney releasing a statement saying in part officials are continuing efforts to get a court order that would allow the video to be released to the public. Officials have placed 7 sheriff's deputies on paid administrative leave as they investigate what exactly happened. One of the attorneys representing Brown's family says they were told by investigators that no drugs or weapons were found at the scene. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.